Hello, this is Tip Top Gaming here today with another video. Now, today's video, I'm going to be going over some MTG Arena news, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of giving my opinion throughout the whole thing, I'm going to read it verbatim through the entire way, and then at the end, give my opinion. So people who just want to know about the news can get that first without caring if you don't care about my opinion. You know what? It's been a long couple of weeks. I think we've all earned ourselves a little vacation. Plantation Chronicles. Plantation. Travel the multiverse. Earn souvenirs. July 28th through August 27th. Pack your bags, wear comfortable shoes, and hold on to your spark at all times. It's time to hit the multiverse in our new Chronicles event series, Plancation. For travel and scheduling purposes, here's a breakdown of each one of our scheduled stops across the blind eternities. Each event will start on Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, and end the following Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Players will have until 8 a.m. Pacific Time Tuesday to join the event. Losses are not tracked. You can play in each event until you earn the rewards or the event itself ends without starting over. Players will earn rewards based on the number of wins, up to 6 for each event. No entry fee. For those of you who participated in our War of the Spark Chronicles event, you'll notice a couple of key differences. For starters, we shortened how long the event lasts and the number of wins required to earn all the rewards. We heard, and saw, that as each event and the Chronicles themselves continued, each player began to burn themselves out and stop playing. That is pretty much the exact opposite of what we wanted to happen. So, these events will be shorter, both in how long each is available, but also how many wins it takes to earn the rewards. I picked Sunday as the start date because it tends to be the day we see the highest number of players, and it also corresponds with when the weekly win counter resets. Another change is at this event, you'll earn rewards for every win, up to the maximum of 6 per win. As for the rewards themselves, we decided to keep it pretty basic. Taking the scenic route. All roads lead to Ravnica, Plantation, July 28th through the 30th. As you play, you'll be able to pick up the perfect souvenirs from your sorry about that. As you play, you'll be able to pick up your perfect souvenirs from across the blind eternities. Each Plancation event will reward you with one of each 5 basic land type, using artwork based on your location. For our first stop, Ravnica, you'll be able to earn 6 new basic lands to add to your collection. Plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest, and forest. Wait, more forest? On Ravnica? That seems unlikely. So, well, while we try to find a map, and maybe a different tour guide, we also want to call out that your first win will also reward you 1,000 XP. It's important to note that each reward can only be earned once, but for basic land, that's all you need. Once the basic land is added to your collection, you'll be able to add any number of copies to any number of decks. In addition to the event rewards, you'll also be able to use gems to purchase additional basic lands and basic land card styles in the store. And for those of you who got a little homesick, the event rewards will be purchasable for gold at a later date. Basic Land Filter. We introduced this feature back in May, but we thought it'd be a good time to mention important Basic Land Filter information again. The filter is located in the Advanced Filter options next to Card Rarities. Basic lands are treated as their own card rarity. Basic lands are only viewable while the Advanced Filter option is selected. Trying to search for Swamp without this filter enabled will not display basic land Swamp cards. Players can use the mana symbols to sort by color identity. For instance, if both basic lands and the green mana symbols are selected as the filter, the deck builder will display available basic land forests. Players can also sort by expansion by using the set filter options or advanced search tools. Example, RTR will show Return to Ravnica basic lands if you have the basic land filtering enabled. The basic land filter is also available in limited events during deck building. New Guild Battle, Standard Shakeup, and Landfall. In addition to Pauper and Treasure Constructed, we're going to be trying 3 new events for the Chronicles: Guild Battles, Standard Shakeup, and Landfall. Guild Battle. Wait, you thought the interdimension threat of an Elder Dragon set on Godhood would mean everyone from Ravnica would finally decide to, just get along for a little bit? Nah, with this event, you'll be able to pick from one of the 10 pre-constructed decks to play with, each representing one of the 10 guilds of Ravnica. You'll be able to preview the decks before selecting which one to begin with, and if you decide to swap allegiances, you'll be able to pick a different deck between matches. Also, please note that what happens on Ravnica stays on Ravnica. The decks and cards you use for this event will not be added to your collection. This is a new technology for the game, and the first time we're holding an event where you can pick a pre-constructed deck that uses cards that won't be added to your collection, so any feedback on the process is greatly encouraged. Standard shakeup. Just so we're all on the same page here, this is not an indication of any pending bans or restricted announcement. For all those who remember the closed beta days, about this time last year we held an event called Brewers Delight, where we encouraged players to participate with their wacky brews or off-meta deck. Alas, some players must have missed the memo, and entered the event with their finely tuned, highly competitive decks, purely by accident, of course. Well, to ensure there are no mishaps when it comes to deck submissions, we've decided to ban Teferi, some of the current standard staples for this event, and this event only. But seriously, we're banning Teferi. A full list of cards banned for this event, and this event only is below. I'm gonna scroll through these. Some major ones here are Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Thought Erasure, Hydrate Crisis, and Risen Reef. This event should be a great opportunity to allow you to try your hand at brewing new decks or see what your favorite jank can do with the top standard decks being on a little vacation of their own. Landfall. For this event, each player will start with an emblem that reads, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. If that card is a land card, put it into your hand. If that card is a creature card, put that card on the bottom of your library and create a 1/1 green plant creature token. If that card is a non-creature, non-land card, put that card at the bottom of your library. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Long live and flourish. Little plant buddies, last time we checked, Zendikar could sure use it. Or, okay, improvement to the game installer and update process. Or as you, the player, would have probably labeled this section, finally! After the July 25th game update, you should notice some serious improvements with how Magic the Gathering Arena handles updates to the game. First, you'll no longer be required to download and reinstall the entire game client with most updates. We say most, as there may still be some patches that require complete reinstall. But for the vast majority, you'll only be downloading the changes and not the entire game client again. Second, the game will be able to pre-download certain files and assets prior to the game updates going live, which means come patch day, the only thing you should have to download are those changes to the client. Combined, these two changes should greatly improve both the time and bandwidth needed to keep MTG Arena up to date on your machines. The only caveat is you do need to install the July 25th game update for these changes to take effect, and this update will be using the current installation method. But going forward, you should no longer expect to have to download the entire game client with each update, and the game will be able to pre-download certain assets prior to the game's update going live. This has been one of those housekeeping improvements we've been working on for a very long time, and it's a major step towards other features and improvements. Everyone needs a log. For players who like to parse or peruse the game's log files, these changes to the game client combined with other improvements to the game performance mean that our log outputs will be changing with this update. For those of you who use tracking tools or software that rely on game logs, this may require you to update some things on your end. To help get you started, here's an example output of what a log file will look like after the July 25th update. Cleanup phase. Chronicles are back! New basic lands and card styles are here, and we're updating our update process. These changes, alongside additional bug fixes, performance improvements, are scheduled to go live July 25th, so keep an eye on our status page for the latest information on maintenance time. Until then, secure your carry-on items, stow your trade table, and please remain seated until Sparky has indicated it's safe to move about the plane. Alrighty, that was 9 minutes of reading this article, and when you scroll through it, it actually doesn't look that long, but then when I actually read through it, and this was my first impression, I was going to talk all about how this wasn't that big of an update. You know, they just released the mastery system last month, so this was a vacation, and but reading through it, it actually had a lot of information. Sure, a lot of it wasn't really needed, but I want to go through this again, but not actually read it word for word and just tell you what I'm thinking. So, the Chronicles start the July 28th, so on the 25th you will not be able to start a Chronicle yet, and goes to August 27th, which makes me think that about that time next month, that is when the next update is coming out. sometime August 27th, or 8th, maybe. Either way. Then they basically talk about how, so for those of you who remember the War of the Spark Chronicles, it was a little different. For instance, each event, I believe, did start on Sunday or Saturday, but it actually went for a full week, and they say they didn't want people to feel burned out. However, I feel like they kind of messed this up a little bit. So they said, oh yeah, we're reducing it, because it started at 15 wins. You had to get 15 wins in this event for a week. And that was kind of a pain, because I, for instance, hate Pauper, which is returning, unfortunately. So I didn't get I only got the first stained glass tile, because I just don't enjoy the format, and they were stained glass tiles, so I didn't really care that much. But they're making it so you, and then halfway through, once we actually got to the fun formats, they made it 10 only, because people were not enjoying it. And now they're making it 6, but they're, like, cutting the time in half. So basically, you're going to have to do more wins per day, but overall less wins. So I think it'll be an improvement, but I feel like if they would have just kept it at a week and left it at 6 wins, or even 10, I think that might have been better, because what about players who can't play Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? They don't get a chance. I know that they said you can buy it for gold later, but I feel like the week just allowed more people to participate, and it allowed you to spread it out. Instead of having to do, so we have 3 days, 6 wins, so I have to do 2 wins a day, which is, I had to do like 1.5, I didn't do the exact math, a little more than 1 win a day in the other system. So it's a little more intense, but I think it'll be overall good. I think a really major improvement here is the fact that every win gets you a reward, because for me, I'd be like at 10 wins, and I needed 15, and I'm like, well, I don't get rewards for the next 5 wins, and I have to bear through this just to get the style that doesn't actually change anything, but being able to get, basically being like, oh, it's, one more win, and I get this, and then just basically that process repeats over and over again. And obviously, there's no entry fee, and you don't have to restart, which is nice. So they're talking about how Ravnica. Now, at first, and this is what I think is happening, you'll be able, so basically the rewards this time are no longer card styles. I think they're going to be something cooler, but also I'm scared. Every update seems to add more cosmetics, and this time we're talking about basic lands. And I don't know if this was the best idea, because someone like me, I don't go into the land filter. I'm not like, I'm going to change my land to this. I have one deck, because I was messing with the shuffler, seeing if different lands, mess with the shuffler at all. And I have one deck that uses it. But I don't know, will this incentivize me to customize my lands? And so what you can see here is these are actually Battle for Zendikar, not Battle for Zendikar. I don't remember what the set symbol is, sorry. But these are the lands, and I don't think these are going to be the Battle for Zendikar. I was right. Yay. I don't think these are going to be lands. I think they're going to be Ravnica, as noted by these links. I think they're going to be these lands, which aren't going to get me as excited as, like, these full art. Whatever weeks this full arts are, and it's probably Pauper, those are going to be the weeks I do it, and, yeah. I think the choice of 6 wins is kind of weird, because if they're going to do basic lands, which it makes it sound like, oh, we're going to go to all these different places and get the lands from there. As you can see, return to Ravnica. I feel like 5 would have been a better option, or have it be like 5 lands and then the 6th win is something else instead of doing like 2 forests. But that's completely fine. I don't think it's that crazy. So let's talk about the new format. Oh, well, let me talk about something else first. I don't know if the ability to purchase land styles, because currently there are land styles, but they're for dual lands. I don't know if basic land styles are going to sell that well. I mean, they might, but I feel like when I look at it, not that, like, there are basic lands, but a lot of decks run very few basic lands. I know there are mono decks and all that, but I feel like it's not going to sell as well. But I think there are going to be people who are like, well, this is my best value. I pay 200 gems or whatever it is for this basic land, and it's not like me getting card style for Teferi, which is not only going to rotate out, but also is not in every deck. Versus if you, you're not in every blue deck, for instance, but if you got the island, it would be in every blue deck. So I think that might sell people on it. I don't know if I like being able to purchase different land art. Again, I like the fact that these changes, for someone who doesn't spend money, they don't make it so people get further ahead. It's all cosmetic, but I don't know. I was really hoping for some more avatars, purchasable with coins. All right, let's talk about guild battles. Guild battles, I think, is a really good idea. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, so it's just Ravnica constructed again, or maybe they're just going to limit it to guilds and Ravnica allegiance. And then I was like, wow, they give you the deck. I like this. The only issue is I can see, within 24 hours of the event happening, someone on Reddit's going to be like, yes, technically, this one deck is the best deck, so play this deck. And then it's just going to be a bunch of mirror matches, literally. So that's the one issue I see with it. I love the standard shakeup. Looking at it, you guys can't see the card. Oh, you can. Looking at it, they do get rid of a lot of problem cards. So this shuts down mono white, this mono blue. This is banned everywhere, pretty much. Command the Dread Horde affects Esper. This is Phoenix, obviously. This is Red Rush shutting down, Red Rush shutting down, Red Rush shutting down. This is banned in standard. This is shutting down red, shutting down like turn 2 Nissas, shutting down Explore, shutting down Esper, shutting down, I'm trying to think of the name, I guess, and then shutting down Risen Reef. And now I do see a couple decks that I see being a problem. It's that mainly the Gates decks. Now, you're getting rid of all of the things that make the Gates deck bad. Like, all the things that counter the Gates deck, they're pretty much gone. So that means that people are going to be running Gates. They're going to take, basically, they're going to take this and just, Gates, this doesn't really affect Gates at all. And I guess you could I wouldn't call that jank. I would call that pretty meta, just some stuff in the meta that stops it. The only M20 card that I saw banned was Risen Reef, which kind of upsets me because I'd love to play that because that's my new deck. But I'll probably end up running some sort of Esper without Thought Erasure, Teferi, and Hero of Dominaria. Because those are the only real card. I guess Command the Dread Horde is in that deck, but I can easily take that out and replace it. Landfall just seems like they were trying to come up with something, emblem that does this and this and this. But again, the issue is these decks, these concepts, they're going to end up pushing one deck to be able to be more successful, and I'm not a big fan of that. I actually liked the Momir event because it didn't matter how big your card collection was. It was just a game of skill and luck, and the luck was kind of annoying. And then the improved game installer, this is great. Last update, due to all the people installing it, you couldn't get into the game unless you were in Australia or using a VPN to Australia for like an hour, and so this looks like it might help with something like that. The log files are changing, and then, they talk about the bugs, and if you guys want to see me go over the full changelog, because this isn't everything that changes, they do a full changelog with every little change on it. I can go over that. If you guys just leave a comment or like down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If you want to look at this article, there's a link down below. See you guys. Bye.